I think when most people think of the quintessential Michigan dry fly, they think of the Robert Strake. Um, and that's because it's just a great fly. We use it for hex, brown drakes, sulfurs. We use the same platform then for Isonychia. And it's just a really good attractor too. And by changing the thread color, I'm doing the traditional, but by changing the thread color, it changes the whole fly. So here it is done in gray. So this one we're going to do standard yellow. The cool thing about the Robert Strake too, especially if you're kind of intermediate fly tire, is it makes you really good at a lot of different dry fly techniques. And if you don't have those down, you'll have to get them down to tie this fly, which makes it pretty rewarding when you get it right. So we're gonna tie a long tail. So like 1.5 times the hook length, or 1 1/3 times the hook. And we're gonna work up to 1/3 of the way back. And then we're gonna take our deer hair, and we're gonna make a deer hair body, which is a very common component of Michigan flies. We do them for spinners. We do them for the Robert Strake like we're doing today. So it's very common to do. And if you ever have the misfortune of grooming with a commercial fly tire from Michigan, you're gonna hear a lot of hair stacking because you have to stack the hair on this fly. We're gonna leave the tips off the back of the hook. That helps float the fly. We're gonna clip the deer hair to length and push it over the hook shank, and then wrap our thread to secure it. And you'll get this, that's what it's gonna look like. And you're gonna hold with your fingertips and just soft wrap, nice and even, back to the bend, and just put a little flare on that. Make sure we got it. See how I kind of didn't get it to go around the hook. So while the wraps are still loose, you can pull it around the hook, and I did. Because they always said, don't let the thread wrap show through on the bottom of the hook. So we'll keep right with the fish gods there. Although of course it probably doesn't matter. So we left that little gap there, and that's where that's gonna be the landing spot for our white deer hair. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna stack it. So really good belly hair is key. The Robert Strake in general is a fly that demands pretty good ingredients all the way through. You want good pheasant. The wild pheasant's better than the game pheasant, but you gotta do what you gotta do. This is a game farm pheasant here that someone gave me. Thank you, Dan. And it's pretty good, it's not bad. All right, so from where it leaves, we're gonna go just past the bend of the hook, from where the deer hair stops here, that's where I'm gonna measure from. Go just past the bend of the hook, switch hands, clip the deer hair, come down, 2 soft wraps, it's gonna flare, and we're gonna cover that with our thread. And so you can see how the thread color starts to take over the entire fly, even though we're using just white and natural. All right, like I said, this fly's tied big, so this post will be a little bit bigger than you might be expecting to see from me. But the whole point of this fly, like the size 14 Robert Yellow Drake, I mean, it imitates, I guess, a March Brown on our river, but in reality, it just sits between so many different flies. You have March Browns, you have Yellow Sallies, you have Brown Drakes, you have sulfurs, and this size 14 is right between all of them. So it becomes a really good blind fishing fly. Here's one little gapper, there we go. All right, so we're gonna put our hackle on. And what we don't want to do is to get too far up the post, as far as we want to stay close to hook shank. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're going to tie it on, let this hang. We're going to wrap counterclockwise right down, and you can see how I don't have much of a gap here between the hook shank and the hackle. We want to keep that. So just one and 2 times around the post with the thread and let it dangle. We're gonna come in here and clip this nice and clean. And you can see on the back, I got just a few hackles trapped, but if we get them right now, we'll keep them out of our thread wraps. They're more or less cleaned up. And then, you know, if it's not clean enough, you can just say, oh, it's buggy. I tie it buggy. That's what we always say. Oh, that's a nice buggy fly. That means it's not very clean. That's okay with this fly. Whip finish. Do the spin to make sure we get those clipped off. And we're good to go and ready for blind fishing on the Au Sable River.